Sup? Virtua Fighter 5, the one with the whitewash Vanessa. This is gonna suck. Tekken, they're alive. Kensei, I guess? Wow, is it really a short list? Anyways, what these have in common is that they're 3D fighters, set in 3D arenas with 3D environment, complete with sidestepping. If there's one game you can very much thank for, it's Virtua Fighter, released into arcades in 1993. Sure, there may have been a few 3D fighters before this, but I feel this is the first one that did the concept right. For the makers of Outrun, Sega's AM2 studio, this game revolutionized the fighting genre with, well, its cutting-edge 3D-ness running on Model 1 hardware. It looks so dated with blocky characters and moon physics, sure, but I just like the charm of it. It's not just that, the control scheme was very simple, just 3 buttons to the joystick, that's it. However, don't let it fool you, the fighting mechanics are actually more in-depth than it looks. And because of that, it became successful enough to spawn ports of it on the 32X and Saturn, twice actually. The first one was an unoptimized mess due to it being rushed for the console launch in the US, and as a response, they remade the game to make it run a lot smoother, known as VF Remix, and of course, sequels. 94's VF2, running on the military-grade Model 2, true story, it was developed in collaboration with GE Aerospace / Lockheed Martin. Was more of the same, aside from introducing 2 new characters like Shundi, the Dragon Master, and Lion, the annoying freshman who really wants you to know that he hates fighting old people.
I don't make it a habit to fight the elderly.
But VF3 was a major shakeup. The stages are now more involved with height differences, walls, and all that jazz. And there's now a dodge button for quick sidestepping, which is just so unusual even for a VF game. Afterwards, it's just double tapping up and down, much like Tekken. The first 2 mainline games were already way ahead of their time with its visuals, but this being a 1996 game, I think it was a little too ahead of it. Here's what games usually looked like back in that year, even arcade ones. And then there's VF3, flexing his military-grade arcade prowess once more, the kind of stuff that won't show up on consoles until some years later. And even then, his Dreamcast port didn't do much justice, and because of that, it ended up being an expensive cabinet. It's no wonder it wasn't the international smash hit Sega hoped, pardon my Japanese, but Junin Hayandayo! It would have tanked the series entirely, but fortunately not. Sega held back a little and released VF4 to arcades in 2001, reverting back to the old styles of the control scheme and the stages, but retaining the cages and fences concept from the third. It's also the one that introduces Vanessa Lewis into the roster, my beloved. It was probably a better alternative to Tekken 4 at the time, as it still doesn't deviate from the trappings of the first game. Good call really. It got ported to the PS2 later on, as well as major updates, such as Evolution in 2002, which in addition to 2 new characters like the very Italian-sounding Muay Thai fighter Brad Burns, introduces a quest mode, which isn't really a story mode per se, I'll explain later, as well as the Q and Dan ranking system in this console port, very influential as always. And then there's Final Tune in 2004, in Japanese arcades only. Unfortunately, this is one of the few VF games that never got the arcade minigame treatment in one of the Yakuza games, so that sucks. Well, at least VF Kids is one of them too. Speaking of which, can't forget its spin-offs, such as the Game Gear Master System game based on the anime. Yes, much like most fighting game franchises of the time, there was an anime, a 2-season show to be exact. VF2, on a Genesis, AM2's King of Fighters clone, known as Fighters Megamix, featuring the Fighting Vipers and the Hornet Cup from Daytona USA. Were they not allowed to put Sonic in it though? And of course, Virtua Fighter Kids. The less said about that, the better. Back to where we were, then came Virtua Fighter 5, released to arcades in 2006. Or 2005 according to Sega Retro, although that day was only for location tests and not really official, but let's not have this debate here please. But this isn't the only version it got, because of course it isn't. You got Vanilla's version B and C, where the latter has online multiplayer, about time. Those versions were used as the basis for its console ports. Then there's the R version, which has new stages and 2 characters, a returning and a new one, which is greatly appreciated, as well as some balancing shenanigans that might rile up some gamers. Yet another big revision came up as Final Showdown in 2010, which thankfully got ported to consoles 2 years later. Final. It felt like it was the final one for a while, but suddenly, in 2020, Sega announced a remaster of the game, at least the Final Showdown version, with the Yakuza guys helping them. No, I mean the devs behind the Yakuza games, not the actual Yakuza. It's called Ultimate Showdown, released in June of next year. Ultimate. This being a remaster, the graphics have been overhauled, as well as the usual balancing fuckery and quality of life improvements. Shame it's PS4 exclusive, it got worse netcode than FS somehow, and also no playable Durell out of the box, not even as an unlockable. She is the Rugal of the series anyway, anyone who uses her is banned on the spot. And then Sega went and announced yet another version of the game in 2024, known as REVO. Or just Revo. At least it didn't call it something like Climactic Showdown this time. It's essentially a PC port of Ultimate with rollback netcode added in, finally, released early this year. So I guess this counts as me reviewing another new game or something. Hey, at least it's better than Paw Patrol GP. It wasn't a PC port for long, as it's also released for current consoles with crossplay added into the mix, now known as Revo World Stage. While I'll be mainly playing the Revo version, which I'll be interchangeably referring as that and Ultimate Showdown throughout the video, I'll also be looking at both Final Showdown and the vanilla console ports, mainly the PS3 version, which is the one I grew up with and also the first VF I ever played, if I'm not mistaken. My mind can be fuzzy, you know. I hope I don't get my eyes flashbang. Fuck! The free versions I played have their own intros, but they have the same gist, basically showcasing the characters doing moves and having some moments with others. Simple really. Okay, yeah, special mention to the Ultimate Showdown intro with a proper song with lyrics, which the Revo version has them in English. Considering that this isn't the singer's first language, it's silly. Maybe enough to listen to the Japanese original instead, but it's great to me regardless. I will make comparisons a little later, but man, I sure love the original menu here. It's something I may see more recent games. Off to arcade mode we go, and we see the roster, including but not limited to the Shoto Loco that doesn't play like a Shoto Fighter, the Ninja, the Wrestler, the Freaky Fish Guy, Blonde Bombshell and their brother, an old man, a sick man, Rey Mysterio, Son Goku if he was a girl, this pale guy, we can do Brian Fury too, and Vanessa Lewis. I'll get to her. As you might have noticed if you played the first 4 games and never did somehow, there's at least 2 new characters in at least the vanilla version, the aforementioned Eileen and Hellblaze. Oh boy, Hellblaze.
I've got the advantage. You've got nothing. Ha!
You may look like Ray Ray, but your rather deep voice combined with your stature reminds me a lot of Loki. I sure hope you aren't as stiff nor short-tempered. By default, there's only 2 outfits you can choose, but to do so, you don't select it by using the D-pad like Dead or Alive, or press a different confirm button like old Tekken and some other fighters. No, to do so, you must hold start and then confirm your selection. I mean, it's just a nitpick, but still, I kind of don't like it. At least Revo makes it a toggle. Let's have a graphical comparison. It is a PS3 game, so it is expected, if dated, but back then, I was floored by how detailed and lifelike the scenery and the characters are. Look how colorful it all looks. I really love the island stage for a slush environment, even if the sea rise looks rather iffy from here. Snow Mountain's a treat too. Look, there's a bit of terrain to formation on the snowy floor, nice. For the characters, they still look good, even if their models don't always match the photorealistic portraits, but I can live with that. Oh man, Lau has seen better days, and I don't mean it in a he looks graphically ugly way. He's fucking dying out here, lore-wise. Please retire, make Lion proud. However, I have an issue here. Remember how Vanessa looked in 4? Very black and very toned. Must be an inspiration for Sophie. I'm white, you idiot! Well, here's how she looks in 5. What the fuck? She looks prettier with her new attire and all, but it's very obvious that she lost some melanin and muscle here, and after playing 4, it's quite a shame. Thankfully, she retains the white hair.
Well, it was ridiculous.
Well, at least she wasn't Brian Fury. Oh gods. Come to think of it, Sarah also looks like she slimmed down compared to her appearances in 2 and 4. Now I feel robbed. It's like I'm cosplaying as her compared to those iterations. Makes me think if the original Sarah died and got replaced, like that Ultimate Warrior conspiracy from way back. The vanilla and Final Showdown versions look identical, aside from a few new and changed stages, so no comparison. But Ultimate Showdown didn't have a graphical revamp, even remaking the character models here. Maybe it's just my graphical settings, but I just think the fights here look, for the lack of a better word, a bit worse. Sure, they still look good, and they at least resemble their portraits even more, but I just don't gel with them as much, especially Sarah. Maybe it's the lip syncing that shatters my immersion.
I've got grace and power. You've got zip.
Yeah, they just reused that from the previous version. Ouch. And Vanessa still looks whiter than she should. From what I heard in Final Showdown at least, you can make her darker and more toned in the customization menu, make her more in line with a VF4 appearance, but apparently you have to pay up. Man, I hate this little whitewash. So the answer is obvious, right? Which version do I prefer seeing between the two? Dead or Alive 5. Yeah, that game had a few VF fighters in it, plus my Shiranui from Fatal Fury. This is so weird, but I wish Vanessa was also included, with the same skin tone as Zack preferably. Am I being racist? I also don't like the top graphic in Revo. It works, but it just screams cheap Unity asset flip fighter to me. It's no wonder I went with the retro HUD after I got the anniversary pack. For menus, I much prefer the more dynamic one in the original over the static ones in Final Showdown and Revo as well. But hey, you can watch replays from ranked matches here, so I guess that's a plus. For audio, I love it so much, especially the whoosh sounds that they've been reusing since the first game. I love it. And while the audio in Final Showdown is similar, I don't like its block sound at all. It's like I'm slashing something metal rather than punching skin. It's so out of place. It's not as satisfying as the parrying sound from Street Fighter 3 either. And because Revo is a Final Showdown remaster, it, of course, reuses that blocking sound. It just sucks. Weirdly enough, the voice acting, while fine, well, maybe except for Sarah, I miss her shot from the previous games.
Better run home to Mama now.
Better run home to Mama now.
There are some are rendering it a little bit right than the announcer.
時は来たれり。行くぞ! Ha! Fight one! Ready? Go!
Hell, they aren't even remastered for a remaster. They still sound so cheap.
Let's see how many seconds you'll last. Are you ready for this?
Round one. Ready? Go!
The PC version of VF2 had less compressed voice clips than this.
Even good guys blow it.
And would you believe me when I said that the voice files are used in Dead or Alive 5?
Know your limits next time.
Still, aside from Sarah, the English voice acting is cheesy as heck, and I love it.
You're no match for me.
Here comes my suplex.
It's like you're moving in slow motion.
Might makes right!
I'll take you down and take your name.
You'd better take me seriously.
This is for real. Say your prayers.
Yes! What a knucklehead.
For music, this is gonna be fun. These four versions have their own soundtracks. But because I never played the R version, I'll just be talking about 3 of them. Let's start off with Vanilla. For starters, I really love the main menu theme. It's just so soothing with the piano and all that. And the character select song is just as good as I remember. Some stage songs are pretty great, such as for Aurora, Arena, Island with that bass. And Snow Mountain. It's that guitar that reminds me a lot of Outrun 2 Splash Wave. I quite like the terrace theme, even if it would sound better in a different game. The Ruin stage is great though, very different. However, Sanctuary is the best for me in this version. It just sounds very fitting for the true last stage, thanks to that organ solo. Also, gotta give a shout out to the wind jingles, plural. If you get a good streak, the jingle changes, and they're fantastic. For Final Showdown, the main menu is the worst of the three. Sounds very VF4 Evolution to me. Man, that also had a boring looking main menu too. I do like its arena theme though, with a jungler's intro to boot. And Kusho's stage is hard hitting too, at least during the arcade ladder. But other than that, I don't find it as memorable as Vanilla's. Ultimate Showdown, I think, is the best, but not by much. The main menu song has that flair of determination, which I love a lot. I still prefer the vanilla version, but the Cactus LED song here is pretty alright. For the stages, I'm kinda disappointed the Ruin stage is as boppy, but I still love it for a different reason anyway. Kujo's stage isn't as hard hitting though, but the rest are entertaining to listen to. The one for the bonus stage is great, even if it reminds me a lot of the Jinpachi fight from Tekken 5. The Terra stage is about as great as the one in Vanilla, just with faster drums and better overall feel. Feels more fitting to me. Go's and Jackie's stages go real hard too, and this version of the Palace stage is even more so. While I like the Vanilla version, it just sounds like it came from Soul Calibur. Here it's much better. I especially love this part before the song starts over. Amazing. The wind jingle? I still prefer the vanilla version. Doesn't help that it's the only wind jingle here. Doesn't even have versions for streaks. But I do love the quest mode theme here. Really nice. Overall, I really love all the versions anyway. Even Final Showdowns. Ah, fuck, I forgot what it sounded like. Whatever. Time for gameplay. Hubba hubba the control scheme. 3 buttons like it's the first Fatal Fury. A punch button, a kick button, and a guard button. Simple as that. This will be perfect for a Genesis controller. But don't let that fool you. As we all know, the less buttons a game needs, the more complex a game can be. Look how many moves someone can have. And shit, it even has circular motions? If you're familiar with Dead or Alive, it all comes back. Now usually I main Sarah and I tend to do the triple punch backflip kick a lot, but even still, I don't know many of her moves. It's hard for me to remember them anyway. And of course, you cannot block by going backwards. You have to hold the dedicated guard button to defend yourself. Now, I gotten used to it thankfully, but when even games that base their gameplay on this, such as Dead or Alive, even lets you go back to guard, I think it's time for a change. Or not, in case that'll piss off the old guard, no pun intended. Some characters could be good for starters, while others aren't. For instance, Vanessa again. The thing about her is that she has two major stances, an upward defensive one and a crouching offensive one, each with their own stacked moveset. If you know and memorize one moveset well, you're good to go, but if you know two... oh god. Either that, or if you can't remember a lot of the moves, find the one that cheeses the fights and you're golden. It worked for assholes who made Kazuya anyway. Now, I haven't played most of these people before this review. Like I said, I main Sarah because blue suit and backflips. But the few others that I managed to play as for the video are quite fun. For example, LyssaVee feels like his combos kept going, what with his multitude of stances. Brad burns his knee too, what with his Muay Thai skills, quick punches and kicks. I love him. For wrestlers like Wolf and Blaze, well, I expected them to be heavy on the holes, but apparently not. Wolf, however, has this running stance with some few moves, while Blaze is a bit more basic. Kage, despite being a ninja, doesn't play like Yoshimitsu. That's a shame, he isn't even holding a sword. But he's still complicated, having 3 stances in total. The other ones don't have as many moves as Vanessa's, but it's still a lot. Unfortunately, some of his moves have this red arrow thing, which I really don't know what it's for. Is it like the neutral thing in Tekken, where I just tap, wait a femtosecond and do the move? This game is weird. Oh fuck, I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation. Aoi also has this complicated alternate stance where you have to hold the PKG buttons to stay there. I seriously don't know what it is for. Deflection maybe? Yeah, call me a scrub all you like. I get it. This is what I get for mating Sarah. There are some fighters, like Go here, that have some moves that can continue just as it lands a hit. Problem is that I have to be very precise on the timing, so for most of the time, I ended up ending the move short. At least the sequential throws in Dead or Alive have more time for you to continue if you like, and the only problem is me not remembering what to do next. Still, I really like the flow of the game, very brisk and enjoyable. The matches can just end in less than a minute, even with 3 rounds, and I really love it. Time to hit the arcade mode and talk about difficulty. Man, did Sega nerf the difficulty in later releases because the original game didn't pull any punches at all, even on very easy. By the time I reached the final stage, my life gauge might look like this. I kept getting my ass kicked by the time I reached the midpoint. It's like Mortal Kombat 4 all over again. I like to think that very easy ended up being the normal difficulty in Revo. Later revisions are much easier thankfully, even if my opponents are god happy as fuck. I hope you like throws, you son of a bitch! Weirdly enough, the arcade ladder only goes up to 7 stages, plus a bonus one if you're a good bitch. Usually I'd have to fight all the fighters in a specific order to win the game, at least in the first 2 and VF4. Here it's a lot shorter, with a few handmade orderings chosen at random, and they're over in like 4 minutes or even less if you're good enough. But considering the vanilla roster is composed of 17 playable characters here, I understand. No way I'm fighting that many in one go. But like always, except for VF3, weird game, you always end up fighting against Akira Yuki in the last stage. Always gonna be the hardest son of a bitch, at least from normal onwards, and he fucking delivers it, damn! Hey, let me hit you, dick! Fuck! Man, the master of Banchi Quan does not fuck around. You know what, let me just tone the difficulty down a notch. I am not Sophie after all. Alright, what did I win? Just hold on a minute, Missy. You may have won the tournament, but before we give you the prize, how about you do an extra match for bragging rights? Doesn't matter if you win or lose, you get your reward either way. Oh, well then, I don't mind. Who's this lucky I have to fight then? This, folks, is Dural. V Dural to be exact. She's a copy fighter, meaning that her set is full of moves stolen from other fighters. The one in vanilla is rather bland though. She fights like any other Dural before, just with a mobile body. But in Final Showdown, she's very different. Now she has 2 forms she can switch to this time. The default iridescent chrome stance and the stronger carbon fiber stance. When she ever switches, and it is very random, be prepared for a lot of pain. If the switch didn't hurt you before, yeah, the switch is an attack as well. Also, she looks like a naked bald woman painted in chrome. And of course her breasts bounce too. Priorities! I was bald once, after my first boyfriend broke up with me. Felt liberating when I got it shaved, and even I think I was better looking than this machine. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind Nicole looking fighters as final bosses, but this one just doesn't do it for me. Design looks too simple, she doesn't have much of a gimmick other than she has moves from others, and the fact that they reused her forever is just so meandering. She lacks the sauce is what I'm saying. Even Alpha 152 from DOA is more interesting than this. I like that they did something new for this Durell, but still. Oh well, let's see how many seconds I'll last with her. Are you ready for this? Ow! Despite everything, she truly is Judgment 6's ultimate weapon. What's Judgment 6? Oh shit. I don't blame you if you keep forgetting that this series has lore. I do too. Something to do with this big bad corporation named Judgment 6 running some fighting tournaments while kidnapping some people to brainwash them, especially Sarah Bryant and Kage's mom at one point. Hey, did you know that Jackie was once a race car driver before J6 orchestrated sabotage and his career? I wish I was invested in it. However, unlike most fighting games today, like Tekken and Dead or Alive, you won't know there was even lore to begin with unless you peruse the manuals, because the games don't give you any samples of plot integrating them at all. No mid-turning cutscenes, barely any backstory, not even endings after winning arcade mode, just cut the critics and that's a lot. Even if I enjoyed the fighting and the characters, it'll be more engaging if there was some story to them, while some franchises moved on from just VF clones and incorporated bits of plot into arcade ladders. Virtua Fighter here felt like Doa 1 for each entry, and this is from 2006 by the way! But speaking of story, quest mode isn't it. Instead, it's where you get to enter arcades to play with boss, to level up, and earn some goodies on the way, as well as enter tournaments if you're good enough. Pretty self-explanatory. Hell, you can even buy items to customize the look of your main. However, there is one big issue. Trying to earn money is a grind fest. The only way you can earn it is either hoping the next match is an item battle, and even then, you also have to hope that the prize is actual cash and not clothes or some orb. I don't know what they're for anyway. Or enter tournaments. Unfortunately, some tourneys, like the local arcade ones, have the top prize being something other than money. That is only reserved for the other podium finishers. Screw you! Have an emblem! While I like the gist of this mode, it can get really tedious. It's worse than the Gran Turismo games really. Doesn't help that every match is a best of 5. There is multiplayer, as in local play only. Yeah, unfortunately the PS3 version is based on vanilla version B, which means it doesn't have support for online multiplayer. The 360 port on the other hand does have it, as it's based on version C. Lucky bastards. I mean, they still have to pay for online play anyway, so really nobody wins. But don't worry, Final Showdown finally adds that, as well as 2 new characters to the roster, the returning sumo wrestler Takaharashi and newcomer John Kujo, apparently Lion's childhood bestie before everything went to hell or something. Plus some changed scenery and stage sizes, with Deep Mountain and Palace being rectangular this time, which the fans like to call them taco stages. Unlike the vanilla game, however, this was a PSN/XBLA game, meaning that there were some cutbacks in order to slim down to be eligible. For instance, it lacks a quest mode. God damn it. So if you want some more clothes for your characters, I hope you're fine with paying actual cash for DLC shit. But thankfully, you have Score Attack that lets you choose which ladder you want to fight and beat it till the end to get to the leaderboards. So that's something to make up for it, I guess. There's also license tests. What the fuck? Yeah, each license is a set of 5 challenges. You have to do the thing and win the match to proceed to the next. Complete the set and you get promoted and do the next one. Honestly, it's not a bad way to learn how to play the game. I hope you like getting hit by Kujo's unblockable slap though. But not much else to say here anyway. Ultimate Showdown / Revo, again, is a remastered Final Showdown with a graphical update, and in the case of Revo, rollback netcode, which is neat. Shame that the framerate tends to dip doing online matches on my end. However, despite liking this version, it was rather lacking in features initially. Sure, it has your standard arcade mode, training mode, local and online multiplayer, as well as a dress-up menu, but compared to your original console ports, this felt really basic. For one, they ditched the Score Attack and license modes, and there still wasn't a quest mode, so you still gotta pay up if you want different clothes because it was the only way to get set items. Doesn't matter how many ranked matches you can do, you can't earn them like in a PS3 port. Such a shame. Well, at the very least, this pack lets you play as VF1 versions of the characters, even if they lack any facial animations, unlike in the original. I'm guessing it's not more complicated, but still. There's also packs where you can make them cosplay as characters from the Yakuza games, because of course, Kiryu won't ever hit a woman in combat, but Akira will. And Tekken 7 for some reason. Ah yes, content from a 2015 game for a 2021 remaster. What a weird pack, to be honest. You can make Shun-Di cosplay as Lei Wulong for one, because Wang is dead, I think? Still, stupid Sega and their stupid paywalls. Oh, it's just cosmetics. I don't want to stick to default Jonesy and Company Fortnite forever, you hear me? But that's in the past. Okay, maybe not the item stuff, but World Stage has the much requested quest mode, this time called, World Stage. Unlike the one in Vanilla VF5, this one takes a more linear approach. Now you have to fight enough players in an arcade to rank up to a certain level in order to fight the boss player. After that, you move on to the next, plus some side tournaments as you progress. You don't earn any money this time, so no item store, and the items are only given to you by beating challenges. I'll be honest, while it's still fun, I just don't like it as much. It's more linear, and by the second arcade, it can get really grindy and tedious. At least the fights don't go for 5 rounds max though. And while I appreciate that you can earn items by doing challenges, it still isn't enough to satisfy me. Gotta pay up still. At least it includes the pink VF suit, but no red contacts. It's not worth it. Say what you will about Tekken's customization options, but you do get to paint your items, and at least you don't have to pay real money for clothes. Most of the time. And to end this, multiplayer. From local 2-player fun to online rank matches. That or shit for fun, I guess. Much like in Quest mode, this uses the Q and dance system. And can I just say that this is the loudest rank promotion sound I've ever heard? Fuck. Anyways, it's as you'd expect, fight a bunch of hardasses from around the world in order to level up and shit. Best of 5 rounds as usual, and a best of 3 fights if you like. You better take me seriously, fuck! Yeah, I don't have much to say, other than I suck, but as you can earn tons for your profile, I guess. So that was Virtua Fighter 5, the 3 main versions that I could play. Pretty great game, the fights have a nice flowing to them, and while the fighters have a lot of moves, it's still possible to get through the arcade ladder even with a few you learn and recognize. Quest mode can be rather grindy, but a lot of fun, at least in the original console port. The Revo one is just really grindy, especially when it doesn't have item battles aside from boss matches. Yeah, maybe disappointed with Revo really, but even then, I still recommend it. Don't sleep on the original version though, despite a few missing moves. Next time, Tekken, Dream Match Never Dies. Ow!
So, if it isn't my sister's old partner in crime.
How the hell do you know about me?
Marie told me a lot about you. I think you made the right call quitting the HEF.
Not joining them in the first place will be a better call. I shouldn't have asked my ex-boyfriend to join the HEF. That was really stupid of me.
It's okay. Better late than never.
So you must be Nicole Rosenthal.
And you're Sophie Palmer. Nice to meet you.
Man, you're cold.
Oh no, the Exes of Dementius isn't a terrorist group or anything. It's actually just a friends group we've created after I met Marie. We just do some fun stuff and help each other out. More of a support group for those who manage to escape Vincent's toxic life.
Just proves that Claire is a big fat liar, and she told me you were cold personality-wise.
I'm more cheerful than my sister, don't worry. Ha! Of course it has to be you two.
So anyways, my sister also dated him, same time as me. I was afraid she'd be fully committed to him after I joined the HEF, but as she was crazy like a fox, she tricked both of us, and that's the downfall of him.
That's really good for her. The gal who killed Dementius. Quite frankly, if you didn't join the forces, you would have been in our group sooner. But then again, without them, you wouldn't have met my sister, and then myself.
I guess that's a good compromise. I didn't know you were a wrestler too.
Been doing so for 6 years now. I'm still rather green, but gaining experience here has proven to be amazing. if harsh.
This world is full of coincidence.
It sure is. Oh, it came right back to me. Considering you're Dullahan, being all invincible and feeling no pain, how are you able to sell?
Easy. Aside from just great acting skills, I put a little golden nuggets trap inside my gear, just so I can feel more. That's it, really.
I see.
Man, I was expecting a lot of booze and crap thrown at me when I first went into the Japanese ring. Not just me being a foreigner here, but apparently they just love an unusual looking girl fighting in the ring.
Especially when you can fight good. Quite technical, actually.
I never had amateur wrestling experience though, just a lot of Bret Hart matches to learn from.